girl, you got another one.
Choose your character.
All right. Welcome back to the Geek Set Podcast, only podcast that blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces, and this is 101 with Deuces, the place where I speak with creators, curators, and people that we should know. And right now, I'm speaking with somebody that, bro, I love this man's comedy so much. I love when this man is on screen or part of a cast so much because it's just like, I feel like we walk the same path of life of a unproblematic black Negro who's just trying to live into this world. We have the one and only legendary comedian Ron Funches, bro. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing it's pretty much everyone, stressed, blessed, trying to keep money coming in and just trying to keep living and enjoying my life,
Yeah, man. And that I like to do my research. I like to do my deep dives. I like to really dive into, the people that I'm going to be interviewing. And the one thing that I do love about just hearing you talk or on podcasts or within your comedy is that you make sure that you prioritize enjoying life, understanding that your love for mini golf. I was like, that's to me. I was like, bro, I love mini golf. I just unfortunately don't get the opportunity to do it as much as I would like to. But it's like, I like how you are intentional about I'm going to make sure that I'm going to take some time out for me. And I love that about you so much, bro.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you noticing that because that's a big part of what I try to do with comedy and especially with black comedy and just black media, right? Like you see in general the stories that get told of us are struggle stories. Like they'll retell, every 2 years there's another slave movie coming out just to remind us,
Yeah.
And I like to live on the opposite. I'm a big fan of Outkast, a big fan of just Afro futurism in general, and the idea of just like showing black affluence, showing fun, showing black people smiling. I was a big fan of this podcast, one of the original hip hop podcasts, Combat Jack.
Yeah.
Since when Twitter was fun and cool, like you could talk to anybody, right? And so I would reach out to him on Twitter and we struck up a friendship. And I would always laugh and talk to him about I remember when he got when the show got picked up for I don't remember if it was for cable or for just the internet, but it was going from podcast to being on video.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I'm so proud of you. And I saw the open it and it was all them mean mugging and not smiling. I'm like, you just got a show and you still can't smile. And it was always a thing that struck me that we were always taught not to show black joy and happiness, and it's something that I want to show and I want to put out there. And I remember one of my best friends and my opener, Gabe, after I did my first special and I was kind of struggling about what I wanted to talk about because I was like, oh man, people kind of just know me as this stoner comic or stuff, and I'm like, I don't always want to talk about that. And then he's like, you're not a stoner comic, you're not some fat comic, he's like, you sell freedom. And I was like, that was that put a light bulb in my head of oh, that's exactly what I do. And that's exactly what I try to showcase at any time is that I can be me, I can be open, I can be emotional, I can be playing mini golf, I could go do Pilates and jiu-jitsu, and I'm still a strong black man,
And you know what's crazy? Because like I said, this is where I connect with you a lot in regards to that. Because even my journey into podcasting, around the time when it was just Combat Jack, when it was Deeces and Mero, when it was I was I wanted to do a podcast, a hip hop podcast, but at that time it wasn't as popular as it is now, right? And I knew that I couldn't. Not that I couldn't. I didn't want to do a solo podcast, and I couldn't get anybody to kind of join it with me. So then probably a couple of months go by, and then the podcast space starts booming, and I'm like, man, I still want to. I love talking, I love deep diving, and I was like, but man, there's an abundance of hip hop podcasts. So now, what is another thing that I'm very, very passionate about. And I was watching a shit ton of anime. Marvel was cooking. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I really love like this geek culture, right? And so I wanted to do a podcast. That's where the whole idea of blending hip hop culture and geek culture, because when I'm having conversation with my homies about just Batman versus Superman or anything, you would swear that we were at a barbershop discussing Bron versus Jordan, or you know, like it was that much passion. I was like, I want to bring that to the podcast space. And then when I learned that there's so much more in Blerd Culture, so many more black geeks that are kind of like me, where it's like it's not the stereotypical geek, but you know, like there's different walks of life. Again, that's what I wanted to show. That took me from being, I just want to be in the podcast space, to no, I want to be a reporter of the culture. I want to be the sway of Blerd Culture, where people like you or Phil Lamar or Cree Summers, where y'all like, when y'all got something that y'all want to celebrate and y'all want to talk to your people, y'all come to me. Like, that's what I want to build.
I love that. I love that because that's beautiful. Because that's I mean, I love it. I don't. How old are you?
Oh, I'm 40. Well, I turned 40 Friday.
Okay, so we're similar in age. I'm a couple years older than you. But then you've seen the change and the growth in nerd culture and particularly Blerd Culture, where it's so beautiful, and it shows the beautiful nature of black culture in general, where we could take a space that's not meant for us, that in some places outwardly tries to exclude us, and then we can take it, inform it, and remake it, and through cosplay and through homage and stuff, and you suddenly see like that's part of our culture and that's who we are. Like now, you know, Dragon Ball Z is a black show, you know. You know, the battle of the Saiyans, and you got these aliens come in disrespecting you, calling you monkeys and stuff. Like it's one of the blackest shows you'll ever see, and it's so cool to see that. And like you said, there's so many like life lessons, and to see people use nerd culture and use anime and use those type of things to like better their health, to be like, I want to be strong, I want to be helpful, I want to be kind, I want to be a Goku, you know, like that to me is some of the big positives of it. And I've just been so cool to see people younger than me, like where they just like take it and create it and make things like Grimlock and like just DreamCon, where you're like, oh, this is so beautiful to see it accepted. Because I remember having to like hide my electronic boutiques bag and like, because people would be like, oh, that's not black, that's not like what you do, you know. And to see black culture be so expansive and so open, I mean, that was one of my like earlier jokes that people liked, where I was trying to be like, hey, there's more than one type of black person. There's basketball niggas, there's Dragon Ball niggas, there's all types.
And you know what, as somebody who's been at DreamCon for the past 5 years, as a creator, as somebody like doing panels and curating events and spaces, because I just saw your recent discovery about like DreamCon, and you're like, you know what, I'm thinking about to do more conventions and everything. Trust me, bro, you would love DreamCon so much, and I hope that you are able to make it next year for sure. And even like I said, I hope your people or DreamCon's people get a hold of that you're interested, because they'll allow you to do some things. Like I said, there's a lot of stand-up comedians that have been doing stuff. I was actually the person that kind of convinced Kev on stage to go after my interview, and you see how they like incorporated him, and you know what I'm saying, and his journey with anime. And I'm like, bro, I would love to see you at DreamCon in some capacity, bro. Like, it's just one of those things where it's just so much, because it's a lot of things that is like that black people do that is like just there. Like, and I always tell this story because it's a big part of like a documentary that we're working on. We're working on a documentary called the Black Geek documentary. And we're pretty much kind of detailing what me and you was just talking about. And within DreamCon, while we was working on it independently, Carl Jones said he wants to be attached to it. So now we're working with Carl Jones on it, right? So it's like, you know, you meet that. But the moment that I'm talking about is like, you know, in black culture, when we see somebody with jewelry and everything like that, that's kind of like a status symbol. It's like, oh, I see you out here shining, right? So my guy that do the podcast with me, he's the cosplayer of the group. He's in full Kakashi. I'm talking about with the Sharingan and everything, right? So we get there. This is our first DreamCon experience, our first black convention. So of course we see somebody who he pretty much looked like Amigo, and we're like, "Yo, bro, I see you out here shining." But he's more geeked about the cosplay. And so we captured this on camera. And I said, "You're not going to get this anywhere. This is black culture. We're talking about the jewels. He's talking about the accurate cosplay." And I said, This is what I love. This is what I love. And I was like, I can't wait to show more of that. And I think that you will get those experiences, bro, because like you are so embedded in this culture in ways that, you know what I'm saying, that I don't even think you understand. Like when I posted my little graphic, the amount of people that hit me was like, bro, can I just be in the room? Like, bro, like niggas love Ron Funches, bro. And you are you are up there in the Blerd community, bro. We appreciate what you bring to this community.
I appreciate that. It means a lot to me, and it's always, I mean, you know, I never even try to do anything. I just try to be myself, and I think that's all you can do, right? Like I show who I am, and I don't hide parts of me, and I think that, and I was raised and mentored by people like that. Like Phil Lamar is one of my biggest mentors in voice acting and general acting. We did a commercial like 12 years ago, and like we've just been friends ever since. And to me, it's like, I mean, I got the Static Shock. I got the Static Shock issue 1 in my back on my wall over here, you know, because that's just something when you got to see a black superhero on screen, because you become aware of it, right? Like you're very aware, just as my sister was aware that there weren't any black baby dolls for her, you know. You become aware that there's no superheroes that look like you, and to see that change and grow. And then now lately where they seem like they're trying to restrict and retract and pull it back that way, and to see the independent people being like, no, we're going to just create our own stuff. I love seeing that.
Yeah. And you know, so you brought up Dragon Ball Z real quick. I just want to say you gave me a vocal stem from years back, and I want to let you know it was your appearance on Conan O'Brien, because anytime that I mention Yamcha, I definitely call him bitch ass Yamcha.
Laying in a fetal position. Yes.
It's one of those things that I was like, bro, yes, it's definitely bitch ass Yamcha, bro.
He's just a pretty boy. He don't do nothing.
But so, I mean, as a comic book nerd or a geek as well, you know, we got to talk about the Harley Quinn show, because you are a lot of people's favorite King Shark, and that had to be crazy, just even as a fan of comic books to get, bro, like to get that role. Like, what was when you first actually got the confirmation that you was getting that role? What was your first thought process?
I mean, it was pretty chill in the weirdest of ways, because it came like a lot of things that I find, like things that you think are your failures will end up like propelling you in ways you never thought. Like it came off of doing another DC show called Powerless, which was this like once, and we didn't even make it a full season. They cut us short. They were like, nobody cares how this ends. And that was a bummer, because like I really enjoyed working with those people, and got to work with Danny Pudi and Vanessa Hudgens and some wonderful people. But off of that, the same writers ended up creating Harley Quinn. And so like for me, I didn't even have to audition. They just called me and were like, hey, we think you would be a very funny version of King Shark, of just you being sweet and funny and smart, and then occasionally loud and angry and murderous. And I was like, oh yeah, I've been doing that my whole life. So that's not. And so we went in, did the first record, and I was like, this is just really fun, and I enjoyed it. And actually it's really cool, because it like, I think a year later is when that Suicide Squad movie came out, after we started recording. And I was kind of bummed, you know, to like watch such a big version of King Shark and be like, oh man, come on, James, give me. Right. I know Steve Agee too. Like he can still do the body. Let me do the voice. Come on.
Right.
But then I think it's so cool how many people come up to me and they're like, you're King Shark. You're better than. I've never in my life would be like, people come up to me and go, you played a role better than Sylvester Stallone, like that's cool as hell that people come up and tell me that, and I love it, and I love doing that character. Usually any character that I end up voicing, I become pretty possessive over, whether it's that or Cooper and Trolls and stuff. Like I think I'm like the only cast member of that Trolls thing that's like I've done every, like, if whether it's the movie, the show,
Yeah.
the theme park ride in Florida. Like,
that's you too.
That's still me.
Yeah, that's dope. But hey, I ain't gonna hold you. Like, so once I started doing these interviews, this is what led me actually to my voice acting, journey and everything like that. Like, this landed me getting, being a voice narrator on Watch Mojo. Once I interviewed Deborah Wilson, she kind of helped, like geared me towards it and everything like that. And I started to understand that. I started understanding the mind of you guys, like, you voice actors and actors like that, whereas, like, yes, these characters, especially if you are a fan of the property, you get a little possessive of it because you also, like, bro, I kind of know these stories. I kind of know this character through and through. I like, say, even if my character has to die, there's a way that I think would make sense for the comic book fan in me, or the whatever property that fan is. So it's like I started seeing that, and especially if it's a character where that you get the voice and it's really also your own voice, because like that's a lot. That's the great thing about your roles, is that a lot of the roles, they allow you to be you. And so it's like
they don't really have a choice. I don't have many other voices. That's one of the wildest things I think about my voice acting career, is that I've been able to do a lot of different characters, and through experience, I've learned how to kind of shift my energy and to make it sound a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's people like Eric Balza, like, who like can just mimic and create and do multiple voices, and that's what I've learned about voice acting that I think is super cool, is that there's so many ways that you can do it and be involved in it. You can be a great mimic and know different regional dialects, and that can be amazing for you. Or you could just grow up your whole life and people make fun of your voice because you are a large black man who sounds like an Asian schoolgirl, and still find a way to make it work, and so that's what I love about voice acting, is that you take things that people make fun of you or put you down about, and then turn them into positives.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, that's the biggest in your face. Cause it's like, y'all was making fun of this voice. Now it's iconic. Like, now what? Now what? Oh, so I definitely love that, about you. And then, like I said, even like I said, you talked about, like, you love Outkast. This is what I realized listening to a lot of your podcast appearances, or just even interviews, is that you are really a hip hop historian. Like, a lot of people, like, you'll say a joke or a reference that I feel like sometimes it goes over the host's head, and where me, again, a hip hop historian from the Midwest as well, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when you're from the Midwest, or you grow up in the Midwest, because we're like a gumbo pot of all coast, we get everything. We have love for the West, for the East, for the South. Like, we get everything. But to me, like I said, that was one of those things I was like, oh shit, I can probably have like a deep conversation with, you know what I'm saying, with Ron about hip hop, or in general. Like, I forgot what podcast it was, but you threw out a No Limit reference, and I was like, bro, I was one of the kids that thought I was a No Limit soldier. I bought a tank from the middle of the mall. I wore the
tank. You had your own little chain.
And so, like, that resonated with me immediately. I was like, hell yeah, like some No Limit love, man. Because I feel like people don't talk about how No Limit had a run. That's what it was. You was talking about the output of how, like, staying busy, staying working, because No Limit, they put out a album damn near every month, or if not every week. They was going crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's the design, the delivery method changes, but the way that you can make it work doesn't. Like, the game stays the same. And whether it's like Master P, I mean, wow, I don't think I would ever say this sentence on any other podcast, but if you look at Master P, you can probably do a straight line to someone like Josh Johnson, who is like, that's what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
every week. Outlet, boom, 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 boom. And it's just covering things and it's staying topical, it's feeding the algorithm. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a special quality thing every week. It just has to be output. And that's what Master P was doing, was like he's putting something out, whether it's him, Silk, Mercedes. It's just putting more output out, because then your pull builds up. And like I mean, even like Tupac, right? Tupac is one of the best rappers of all time. People don't talk about how like 40% of his songs were terrible, like they you go into the Machiavelli disc, you're gonna hear some trash, you know what I mean? These are 4 discs long, and like
Well,
but
now
that's
also when you hear
but
the
people
lore
forget
about
those
how
parts.
Tupac, yeah, when you hear the lore about how he recorded, he didn't do double second takes. They said he would go in, it'd be like an 8-hour session, and he'd be like, all right, just let's run through them, and he'll just run through songs, run through. That's why, like, if that Dave Chappelle joke, it hit hard, but it because there was truth to it. It was like the reason why we had so much Tupac music that was actually Tupac after he passed away, because there was just so many unedited vocals that was sitting in some engineer's computer for years. It was like, well, what do we do with this? Because he recorded so much. So it's like, yeah, when you record at that output, not everything's gonna hit.
Yeah, no, and that's okay. But that's what you learn. And I think, for me, a lesson I learned, because I used to be so precious about everything and be a perfectionist. But then you learn, people only remember the very terrible and the very great. If you are anywhere in between with it, they'll forget about it and they'll only remember the good things you put out. So like, just keep putting out. And even, I mean, one of the biggest lessons I learned, because like a lot of now I got like a social media team that I pay a small amount to like keep posting, and sometimes they'll pick clips that I don't like, and I just have learned to take myself out of it and just go, I'm not the person who judges what I make, I just make. So like, I'll if I made it and it's out, then they thought it was worth putting a clip out, it'll hit with somebody. Maybe I didn't love it, but it might hit with somebody. And that's what I've found over and over, is then I'll find other people who are like, oh, I love that clip, and I'm like, all right, oh, sure, you're right.
Yeah, I always wonder that about like just like like when you see certain comedians' pages, and I always wonder like the process on how clips get posted, because I know that it's constant staying on the algorithm. Unfortunately, we all got to play the algorithm game, but it's also especially somebody like you who is still actively touring or actively doing shows. It's like added promotion, because you don't want to give away the jokes that are going to be on the tour, but you still just want to get in that algorithm, let people know with that end card, oh, I'm also going to be in your city. So it's like, I always wonder how that thought process of getting those clips. But again, yeah, you do got to take yourself away from it. There's been times I'm on this podcast talking, we talk for a living on podcasts. You're going to say some shit that you're like, ugh, I probably shouldn't have said that, or like that. But then it's the one clip that draws everybody to you. You're like, all right, well, I guess.
Oh yeah, I already thought about it, because I'm like, oh no, somebody's gonna clip it up and be like, Ron hates Tupac.
That'd be crazy, especially because, like I said, again, as I approached you when I told you, like, that's the main thing, even with my podcast. And it's funny because, like, this is where let me get on a little quick soapbox. Where I get frustrated is that my podcast and in general, my interaction with people is always love, it's dope discovery, stuff like that. And I'm like, I'll have a moment, I'm like, oh, this is about to be fire, and they don't do nothing, right? And then I'll see another podcast, and it'd be 5 dudes like, man, this is why women should stay in the kitchen, and that doing millions. And I'm just like, bro, do y'all want positive stuff or not? Because I'm trying to give y'all positive stuff, but y'all just keep on running to the negative. I'd be so frustrated, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, the answer is no, they don't want positive stuff. But what I learned as an artist, one of my favorite things and mantras is like, you don't give an audience what they want, you give them what they didn't know they needed. And that's what I try to do. And that's what I think when people leave my shows is the biggest compliments I get, is that people come up to me and they're like, man, I was having a terrible week, I was having a bad day. I had this dude after my show who worked at the venue, and he was like, man, it's been rough for me, like I'm living check to check. I'm taking care of my sick dad right now, and so I'm stressed about losing my dad, and I'm stressed about the finances of taking care of my dad. And he's like, but for your shows, I forgot all about that. He's like, and that's why I like comedy so much. It's because of nights like this where I could sit in for an hour and a half. I didn't think about any of that. And to me, that's like the biggest compliment. So that's what I think is the fun of playing positivity. Like, you gotta learn, and I'll just say it just talking to you, not just necessarily podcast, but like sometimes it's fun to learn to play with the conflict of it all. Like if you can make conflict out of stuff that's like, you're not the like sexism or stuff, but like, let's see, how could I put it? Even like I did a joke about jacket potatoes and British food, and I'm like, oh, it's innocuous and silly. I knew people would get mad about it, right? And they did, but it pushed that clip to 500,000, but it doesn't then affect my how people view me. They're not like, oh, Ron's racist, Ron's sexist or anything. It's just like, oh, Ron's never had this potato, or they just kept calling me a fat bitch. Or even like I did a sketch about bringing a white girl home for your family for Thanksgiving, and like the amount of conflict and negativity that it got, but it pushed that thing. And so I've been learning to play in that space a little bit to try to manipulate that algorithm for those reasons. And then in the middle, in between those, I just drop what I like, and so I try to be like, okay, I'll give you something to try to pump my numbers, but then I'm going back to just like my positive affirmations. I'm going stuff because then your community will keep building. But it's like, to me, it's like, since you talk about like you love hip hop, like I've been trying to say my career and position my career similar to like some of my favorite rappers, like a Devin the Dude. Like Devin the Dude actually is one of my biggest influences in comedy. When I listened to his first album, The Dude, it was like, I was like, oh, you can be funny and silly and talk about your regular life, and people will dig it. But what people I know about Devin just lives his life, smokes his weed, has fun, and then he'll pop up on the most classic. I mean, I Just Want to Fuck You is one of the most classic albums. People sing that hook all the time, and they don't know it's Devin, right?
Yeah.
And I think like that's a great career to have that, where you can both be like in your lane, doing your thing with your people, but then you got enough respect from everybody that you can pop up on these other things, and I that's what I'm trying to be.
No, that makes perfect sense because, like, bro, I love Devin the Dude. Like, when I tell people all the time, I'm like, bro, Larry June is a fruit from Devin the Dude's tree. Like, people don't understand that, and I tell people that all the time. And once
I'd love to see them on a track together. Bro, that would be fire.
That would be so crazy, bro. But again, I get very, very with my fandoms, like when if I'm a fan of yours, I'm all in. Like I'm that person that, all right, I'm watching your tour vlog, I'm watching, you know what I'm saying, I'm watching your stream, I'm watching your interviews, because it's like once I attach myself to like somebody that I think like, oh, but this is my person, like I really like this, like I'm all in. So it's like, that's how I was like with a lot of people like early on. Like I remember when Wiz Khalifa first came out. And he used to do his vlog tours. I used to watch those things religiously, like on YouTube, and it made me a big fan of Wiz, because I also love behind the scenes things. Like I love watching behind the scenes concerts. I love a good documentary. I like so again, but it all comes into like showing Black joy, and that's why I was like, because I want to make sure like a lot of these things that people think that Black people aren't into. It's like, no, bro, I love nature documentaries. What are you talking about? Shark Week is my shit. Yeah. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right? It's like we're just people, but like it's so frustrating because it's like they want to put us down, they want to reduce us, they want to say that we're overly violent and all that stuff. But no, like with just statistics that they make up and push around. But when you look at everything, like, we always take the worst of a situation and make it better. We build our lives better. We are, especially this last couple generations, been really strong about family and being good dads and being strong parents. And like, it's just terrible and false. It's false premise, all the stuff that people have been trying to push on us. And that's why I just try to live and be like, no. And I think that's one of the reasons why they don't, try to put a spotlight on me.
That's where I come in, because like I said, my goal is to be that I want to be the disruptor in that. I'm like, fuck that. I'm about to show y'all, because you know what I call it. So this is a nerd podcast. I call it it's side quest activities. Man, and that's,
look at the graphics when you open it up. Look at the motion graphics. Look at the logo. Geek Set presents. Well, look at that. This man ain't throwing this together.
You are watching a master at work.
Hold up. All right. Welcome back to the Geek Set Podcast, only podcast that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces, and this is 101 with Deuces, the place where I speak with creators, curators, and people that you should know. And right now, y'all, I have Black royalty on my screen right now. The one and only Reagan Gomez, Gail Bean, Jay Ellis, Walter Jones, Kadeem Hardison. How you doing, bro? Rachel True, Tamala Jones here, Van Lathan right now, man. Deborah Wilson, Tristan Wing, Susan Hayward, Bill Duke, Cleo Thomas, big homie Roy Wood Jr., Bill Lamar, Omar Benson Miller, Drummer Boy in the building, Michael James Shaw, the Queen Wolf Tyler, Madam Zay, aka Zayna Bear, Bobby Ray, aka B.O.B., Jamie Gray, Cedric Yarbrough, Kel Mitchell, Miriam A. Hyman, aka Robin Hood, Fantastic Frankie, the CEO of Revolt TV, Detavio Samuel, Danny Nicolette, this Tiff from the Shy, I have Patrick Cloud, Gary Anthony Williams, Tanya Denis, Dear Silas, O'Shea Jackson Jr., the homie London Brown, Cynthia Luciette, Carl Jones, Ace Bain, Blas Alonso, Lauren Morris. How are you doing, brother? Jordan L. Jones, Diane Ulu, Rob Martin Vader.
To know that there is a place for people like me to go to. Oh my God.
You are the king of side quest activities. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember one DreamCon I was at, they actually had a full like wrestling ring, right? And this is where I was like, I got so much respect for you, because you got in a ring. Because people don't understand, those ropes aren't just ropes. Those are cables wrapped in like a thin rubber or plastic. And bros, even me hitting the ropes, I had to rethink my life.
Yeah,
you took a bump
they will. If you got back fat, it will let you know where that back fat is. Cause it's gonna catch you and hurt you. You're gonna have bruises everywhere. Yeah, those ropes are no joke. Yeah, I mean, I just love trying to think, especially if you have a life that affords you to, right? Like, and I grew up in Southside Chicago, which was a rough area, and then I moved over to a very small town called Salem, Oregon. And there's people that when I go back to that town, like last time I went back to that town, the guy who picked me up, he was 63 years old. He never left Salem. Told me, he was like surprised about California. It was confusing and confounding to him. And then when I told him that I had just gotten back from Japan, he just goes, wow, man, I could never eat sushi. And I was like, and I just don't want, and more power to him. I'm sure he loves his life, and I'm sure he's happy in that thing. But like, I don't want to die like that. Like, I want to be like, I want to look at my kids and look at my grandkids. Or just tell my friends and be like, man, remember when we went to Japan? Remember when we went to Mexico? Remember when we went and did this? Remember when we saw this thing in New Orleans? Remember when we went and saw Lucha Libre? To me, that's what makes life worth living. Is doing those side quests and having fun and being yourself. And the reason why I got into wrestling was, I always wanted to do it. I only wanted to either be a comedian or a pro wrestler, and then B, I had a friend who had passed away suddenly of a brain aneurysm, and that really like sprung me into gear, being like, you never know right. When like your light gets turned out, and it's coming for all of us. So if there's something that you really want to do and you really want to try, you might as well try it. And I'm glad I did it, and it's really cool. And I'm glad I did a match with Danhausen as my partner, who then now is like killing it all over WWE. And I can say that I did it, and now I'm like, oh, I don't ever have to do that again if I don't want to.
I was really waiting for the promo of Ron the Reckless Negro. I was waiting for it. I was because you said.
Are you a wrestling fan as well, or are you just?
So I tapped out of Attitude after the Attitude era, and I've been slowly trying to get back into it, because one of my other podcast hosts, he's a big wrestling fan, so he keeps me up to date. So I'm not as up to date, but
did you watch it? Were you familiar like with black wrestlers of our youth? Like I'm thinking particularly like Too Cold Scorpio.
Yeah.
Ronson. Okay, so like that was one of the things. Like I grew up watching. I mean, when Ron Simmons won the WCW title and the whole crowd is jumping up and down, and there's like a little black kid in the front row who is just like beside itself, is something that like always still sticks with me. And I grew up watching people like Too Cold Scorpio, and then when I did my match, Too Cold Scorpio was on the card. And after I did my match, he came up to me and he's like, "Look, man, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. They told me you're not a comedian. All right, they told me you're not a wrestler, but you're damn sure an entertainer." And I was like,
That's
God
like the
damn.
biggest compliment right there.
Yeah. And so that struck with me, because like it's like, man, I grew up like I'm literally like 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, watching this guy wrestle, watching him fly off the ring, and being the only black guy that you would see on occasion. Teaming, I mean, he had a tag team with my favorite wrestler back then was Owen Hart, and he was in a tag team with him called High Energy. No, excuse me, that's Coco Beware and Owen. Shit, I almost messed up. Someone was about to catch me, and you didn't. You didn't catch me there.
I didn't.
But I love wrestling.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I can tell, because you talk about it a lot, and I wanted to ask you because, so I remember the Monday Night Wars, right? And but having to tap back and forth, and after now, I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to say, for me, WCW won the Monday Night Wars for me. But that's because I was Wolfpack all the way. Like I loved everything about Wolfpack, and that storyline was so compelling. Like I said, that Sting turn and everything like that. I wanted to give, like, are you more WCW than WWF, or
Yeah.
you talk about WCW a lot?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, but that's always been like, that's my vibe. Like I was Sega Genesis over Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I was playing PS3 when everybody was playing 360. Like I'm just like, I'm usually always going the other way when it comes to that type of stuff. But I love WCW. The Wolfpack thing in particular is really funny because like that is such a, it was just a bunch of white people in a gang. Like
It was
a bunch of white people trying to pretend to be black, and like they were all doing their boys in the hood thing going on, and they had one Mexican, and they were like, "We're cool."
Who was rowdy and bowdy.
Yeah, and then come to find out later, Conan's not even Mexican. He's not.
Hey, you know what? This is where I was like, hey, sometimes we don't need to show too much of behind the scenes about certain wrestlers, because Razor Ramon, like I said, bro, I legit thought Yokozuna was from Japan, and he was not. Like I was like learning these things. Like, bro, when I learned that Undertaker and Kane wasn't actually real brothers, I felt betrayed. I was like, you know what? I don't need to see so much behind the scenes of wrestling, because I am all in on the storyline.
Wild when you go too behind the scenes. Razor Ramon called me the N-word once. He did, but let me back it up in one of the most delightful ways it has ever. He was testing, and you know how those weirdos are, especially back then. He wanted to see how I'd react. Like he wasn't calling me the N-word or anything like that. He made sure he dropped it, and then I looked over at him, and he just did this big Cheshire cat smile, and I was just like, man, I can't be mad at Razor Ramon. If they saying if you could get a Cuban pass, you can be black too.
That's crazy. Speaking of the N-word, like I said, everybody always bring up that Booker T clip, because that was that whole
man. Oh, hold on. I gotta, since you brought that up, I don't ever do that. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Oh, is it signed? Bro, iconic.
That's one of my favorite pieces of media. So I have that up in my house
Oh man, bro! Like if you ever meet Booker T, he'll sign it, bro. I'm pretty sure he would.
Oh, I love that. I'd love
Oh
that.
man. Real quick, like going back to Harley Quinn, real quick. Is there any update? I know.
Man, people been asking me that for like 2 years, so I don't think so. I don't know. They've been doing, what was that? The creature one, the
Yeah,
Commando?
Creature Commandos.
Yeah. So like with all these big corps, like I think they like to just leave stuff, and then if they don't cancel it, so they can bring it back whenever they want. But like as far as like me, like they don't tell. I have no clue.
Ah man, because I know that even a lot of people was requesting for like even the spinoff was with King Shark and Bane. Like it was just like that world. We just want to get back into that world again, because like that was the one thing I love about DC animation is that each iteration that they have is different but beloved. Like I just finished Cape Crusader, and oh my god, that was so good.
It's so wild, like how like the movies be so like all over the board. I'm gonna say that lightly because I be working with them, but they kill it on the animation side, from days back. Just like, man, if I see like a new Blu-ray coming out on the DC animation side, it was always good, always something good. They always have been killing it on the animation side, and sometimes, I mean, I was just playing Arkham Knight a little bit before this, so like that's what I want them to get back.
I love the Arkham series is probably one of my favorite that's also why I love the Spider-Man games. It's like I actually feel like Batman in the Arkham series. Like
yeah, you do. Except I will give one criticism I've always felt because I'm playing it now. Man, Batman used the front door way too much in these games. Like he just be walking straight up to the front door 80% of the time in the game.
I didn't think about that.
I mean, that's not very Batman at all. He's not always like I might have to go behind some gates, but first let me ring the doorbell first. Let me see.
It's still in the superhero realm. Did you watch the most recent Spider-Man? Did you?
No, I haven't. I've been on the road so much. I've been missing out. I wanted to go see the Odyssey. I've been meaning to watch that movie, The Furious, which looks like a cool, fun action flick. And then I want to take both my boys to go see Spider-Man, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, as a comic book head, I do genuinely believe that you are going to like it. Like I believe that you are. So like I said, we talked about your voice acting roles and how a lot of them, just use your regular voice. What would you say is the character that you're most recognized for?
I'd say probably King Shark is the character that people most know me for, or most get excited about on the voice acting role. But there's so many different ones, so it really depends on people's age. There's a lot of younger people, or I guess now they're almost like 10 to 12, and if they're their parents are usually tell me. I've done a lot of like messages for people as Cooper. So I think the Trolls is also a pretty good one. And then, but me personally, like I liked all the nerd stuff. So like I did a role of this newspaper strip that they turned into an animated show called Poorly Drawn Lines. I was a big fan of that one. And then if you're a super nerd, then Final Space, people tend to come at me with that. And I'm like, all right, you're autistic. And I can say that because I'm autistic.
Right. That's our word. I can say that. Yeah. But so again, another side, and this is not necessarily a side question because I mean you're an actor, but I equate it to icons from our era because you just did something with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it is a action project. How was that, bro?
I mean, it's what you would think it would be. It was intimidating. It was a whirlwind. I auditioned on a Friday, and then I got a call Saturday being like, you better cancel all your gigs and pack up because you gotta go to Budapest in 6 days. And that was wild. And I'm lucky that I had such a strong circle that was able to help me with my kids and help me like get everything together and get out of here. And then after that, I'm just like, oh man, I'm getting ready to work with Arnold. Liam Hemsworth's in the movie. Gina
Right.
Davis is in the movie. We got Abby Elliott, Chris Elliott's daughter. I mean, she's on the Bear and does her own things personally, but for me, I was like, man, I grew up on Chris Elliott. Like, I'm gonna like be weird or being like, oh, you're Chris Elliott's daughter. Like, do you have a little hand too? But it turned out super cool. Like, you know, a lot of times, because I've been in this business for a little bit now, and one thing I learned is that like a lot of times, like people who are just coming up, cool as hell, people that are legends, cool as hell, and it's the middle that you gotta look out for.
The little shady characters in the middle, man.
Yeah, because they want to go up and they're afraid to fall back down. So
yeah.
when you're up there, you know, I what I found is a lot of people, they get bored. They're like, man, it'd be super, super cool to meet somebody else talented up here, you know? And so when you show them something new, you show them something fun, or, you know, and whatever you think about me, I know I'm unique. So like when I come and show that, like suddenly they're like, oh, cool. Oh, wow. And you're professional. You're a good actor. And it was super cool experience. And it was one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, you can meet your heroes. Like Arnold was super cool to me. He pumped me up so hard. I did this my big scene, and then he was like, man, you're an action star. And I was like, and he was like effusive, and like the next day even he was like you need to stay in this genre, stay in this lane. Like he's like, you're a good actor, you're good at emotions, you're good at the facials of it, you're good at the comedy. He's like, this is a good lane for you. And like to hear that from Arnold Schwarzenegger,
hey, I'm here for this next era around Funches, bro. I'm here for it, bro. Like I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it now for sure. Because like I said, like, you there's certain comedians like or comedic actors that you see that is like, oh yeah, they are actually really good in this action role. Like it fits and stuff like that. I'm here for it, bro. Because like I said, you've been doing, you know, a lot of your comedy and you know, and your imprint has been in a lot of the roles that you already did. So seeing you in that action setting and you killing it. Oh yeah, I'm here for it, bro.
Yeah, that's one. I mean, I'm excited about that because this is gonna be, you know, one thing you want in life is like for people to believe that you can do more than the thing you did the last time, right? And so a lot of times I've got these same roles where I'm like, okay, I'm the nerd friend, I'm the like support and stuff, and to be able to then go out there and be like, no, you're doing the stunts, you're doing the thing, you're shooting people. Like was really cool for me to stand up and do it because this stuff, you know, it's not out of the blue for me. Like I've been training, I've been going to acting class, I've been like preparing, I've been wanting to do stuff like this. So to have people like the production company and the director believe that I can do it, and for me to go out there and personally feel like I did nail it, I'm excited for people to see it because I don't think people have seen me like this before in a role.
Oh, sweet. All right, so I got 2 more segments before I get you out of here. So the first one I got is called Geek Set Hypotheticals. We do hypotheticals on here. If you had to take 2 characters that you played and put them in a buddy cop movie, which 2 characters would you choose?
That's fun. Is animation or anything?
Let's do anything.
Okay, anything. Okay. I would take probably King Shark, and then put him in a relationship with this character I played called Charizard, from this cartoon called Home, where she was a space alien princess who was overly aggressive and kept saying things like "dang." Basically, she was just a sassy black lady. But it was a real fun character, and I think they would be a cute couple together, and that'd be fun. I would just go back and do anything with Danny Pudi again. He's really fun to work with. I know that wasn't the same question, but like if I could just work in the world with Danny Pudi on the show again, that would be super cool. That guy's the best.
All right, my last hypothetical: zombie apocalypse, alien apocalypse, robot apocalypse. which one do you believe Ron Funches, you with the skill set that you have, can survive the longest?
Alien for sure. Yeah, because here's my thing. Zombie, like, there's no reasoning with zombies, and you gotta be all action based, all headshots, all like muscles is gonna be really great for a zombie apocalypse. And I'm not that guy. I'm strong, but I'm not gonna last for that long. I'm like, for me, like, I got talking is gonna be my skill, and I feel like with aliens, like, if they're higher intelligence than you, if they're not like some like predator style alien, but they're like oh, we're going to harvest these dumb idiots and use these people as cattle. I could feel like I could be one of the humans that shows them that there's intelligence here and that we can be empathetic and kind and sweet. And then I'll draw a picture and they'll be like, oh, of me and the aliens holding hands, and they'll be like, oh, okay, like maybe we should spare at least some of these people, you know. And then I'll shoot them in the back.
Say, like I said, don't forget the mission. Like I said, humanity first.
Yeah, I'm not sellout.
You know, I anytime I bring up these scenarios, because I'm like, you know what? To me, it has to either be alien or robot. But I was like, it got to be alien for me, because I say robot. My issue is like, I never had to hotwire a car, so it's like I feel like if they take over technology, I'm already cut off at the knees. I understand.
Oh, they turn off Google Maps. I'm done.
Right. Like, and in the zombie apocalypse, like, that's usually everything is is done. You got to live off the land. I was like, I kind of understand how to make fire. I just never had to make fire, so I don't know if I can make fire. There's a lot of uncertainties that I have that I was like, I don't know where I'll survive in these. And then also, there's so many layers of zombies. Like, it could be the Walking Dead type of zombies, but if it's the sprinting zombies, I'm out of there, bro. I'm pulling a hamstring as soon as I see one running at me.
Yeah, I think and if you go through the movies, like, the alien ones are the only ones where like people are still like going to bed in their beds at night, you know. Like, they're stressed, but they're like, oh, I'm still at home, you know. Like, in the zombie, you're not home at all, everything's messed up. And then in the robot one, they usually have already destroyed all the infrastructure, so you don't want that. You want aliens, your best choice, I think.
All right, so my last segment is called Clocked Punch. Do you recall your last actual 9-to-5 job?
Yeah. My last actual 9-to-5 job was working at a Liberty Tax Services as a Lady Liberty tax dancing out there pushing, swinging the signs. I was probably 4 years into comedy. It was probably a year before I did my first TV set on Conan. But I'd already gotten somewhat known locally, but I needed money and I didn't have any money. And so, and I needed a flexible job that would let me go do comedy at night. And this was like a job where you could just do for 4 or 5 hours a day and then go spend the rest of your day. But the negative was that I was doing it in my hometown in front of all the people I went to high school with, and my ex-wife's mom would drive by and then look away from me ashamed. And but I learned a lot from that job, because it taught me a lot about performing, where I was like, well, I think I was still very fearful in my jokes. I mean, and I still learn this day, because sometimes I still get scared, and jujitsu has been helpful in being like, oh, all right, if you dislike my joke so much, let's just see what happens. But doing the taxing was like, oh, if I can be up here in a dress as Lady Liberty, dancing to One Nation Under a Groove, then I should be able to get on stage and do just about anything without being like ashamed. So I learned a lot from the job. I mean, I still try to treat comedy like a 9-to-5. I got a lot of work. I try to think. I mean, I'm on Cameo now. Like, you know, I think my goals have not changed. I don't ever just be like, oh, just because I'm doing better.
Of course,
think, you know, my goals are just protect my family and not have to do another job. I don't want to have to leave this job and go to another industry, because there's no, I mean, unless they want a 43-year-old pro wrestler.
I think you said it on the stream, or I don't know. I heard you say this somewhere, but it was like, this has like been my mantra for like the past 5 years. I was like, I want to be able to do the things that I love and just to the point where I can take care of my family. Like, I don't need to be, like I told you, like, I do have, like, as much as I do love what I do. I love interviewing people. I do want to be the Sway or the Angie Martinez of Blerd Culture. However, if this can just support my family, I'm okay with that being my base. You know what I'm saying? Where I don't got to work a job that I don't like. I can just do this. I can go to conventions and interview people and put out good content and, you know, things like that, and just be able to do this. That'll be. And so I think
that's heaven on earth.
Yeah, you said that about, you know, like with comedy and everything and acting. You was like, you know, you just want to be able to take care of your family, be able to go do the things that you want to do. You know, your side quest. And I was like, yeah, I relate to that a lot, because that's the kind of like my goal.
Yeah, I just want to be able. I mean, now, because like sometimes they get bigger though, because I feel selfish because I've been to Japan like 3 times, but I've never taken my sons.
Which
and
is
so
still
now
that's on
like,
my bucket list. I haven't got to Japan yet.
oh, you got to. It's beautiful. That will change your life. Like, that's one of those life-changing things, and you really get to see how culture is just a suggestion, and how things can work differently in different places, and how we can be so differently in the way that we do our day to day, and all of it can be right and can work, you know. And I think going to Japan for anyone is if you're interested in it, is a trip I 100% recommend. It's especially for Black travelers. It's they're typically, you will still see racism, but it's like it's usually like positive in a way that you're like someone will be like, I think someone like legitimately asked me if I was an NFL player. I was like, no, but thank you.
Positive racism, man. So I know that you are currently on tour. It's called the Faithful Tour. What does people coming to this tour set, like, what do they need to know about this theme, the focus? Like, I guess what's different about this set than your other sets?
This set is mostly about, I mean, all my sets are just usually a snapshot of my life whenever you come see me for the like year or two of that life. So my last set was a lot about my divorce I was going through, and we shot that, and hopefully that'll be out on a streamer or on YouTube sometime soon, depending on who says yes. And then now most of my set is about rebuilding my life since then, and going on to Traders and how that taught me about my autism diagnosis. And so a lot of my set is about what it feels like to go on a reality show and to get peer reviewed into getting an autism diagnosis, because I thought that was a unique experience. And always it's just about my family, about my life. And then lately it's been more racial, but more just like talking about stuff that's been going on with this kind of like culture war that they're doing, where they're trying to erase and discredit Black culture, and you know, and so I kind of do the reverse, where I try to discredit and erase white art. So that's the actual like what the bit's about, but I don't usually tell most people.
Well, you'll be in Milwaukee on August 20th. That's where I'm from. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see if I can get off work from that. Unfortunately, I still got to work the 9 to 5. But if I can get off, I'm definitely going to try to pull up on that. You know what I'm saying?
Please. Let me know.
Definitely. Where can my people find you at? Where do you need them to support you on immediately?
You can support my YouTube as always, right? Like, that's where most people are at, trying to just build our own thing, so you can drop sketches and material and sets over there. So you can just find my YouTube at Ron Funches. If you want to know where I'm at, it's usually ronfunches.com. And then just follow me on the socials. That's pretty much our currency right now, and that's the least you can do for me. So if you can give me a follow on my YouTube and my Instagram because you enjoyed this, that'd be great. And if you follow me and you enjoy my work and you want to come see me live, that would be the best. I appreciate that.
All right, sweet. Well, as always, man, this has been 101 with Deuces. I've been your boy Deuces. This has been the amazing Ron Funches, and this is the only place that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together. And we are out. Peace.